The Rape of the Lock as a Mock Epic. Paragraph number 1. Introduction. Epic and Mock Epic. Epic is reckoned to be the most primitive and the most sublime of literary types. And even today, the Iliad and Odyssey serve as the prototypes of epic compositions. An epic is essentially a narrative poem dealing with some universal theme. The action, the characters, the events, the language, the adventures and battles, everything in an epic is larger than ordinary life. In addition, there is explicitly an element of supernaturalism which makes an epic distinct from other forms of poetry. A mock epic, mock heroic or heroic comical poem, on the other hand, implies all the features of epic poetry to deal with subject of a trivial nature. A mock epic may employ or parody or satire on both the subject matter and the epic superstructure itself. If viewed according to this tentative definition, The Rape of the Lock is beyond any doubt a mock epic poem with all the essential characteristics of its type. Hazlitt has called it the perfection of the mock epic. Paragraph number 2. Theme. All great epics of all ages were motivated by a highly serious theme, but The Rape of the Lock, because of its satirical orientation of the whole matter, chooses cutting off the bob of Belinda's hair with that. Thus, a very trivial matter receives a heroic treatment. The mock epic character of the poem is perceived in the very title itself. Rape is a serious moral offense, which means the violation of a woman's chastity by force. But Pope has used this term amusingly to describe the possession of the hair of Belinda by the Baron. Paragraph number 3. Invocation. The epic poet makes an invocation to some gods or goddesses in the opening lines of the poem. That intention is, of course, very serious. Pope begins the poem in the acknowledged epic tradition by announcing his subject. The style of the opening reminds us of Homer, of the wrath of Achilles at the beginning of the Iliad, of Virgil's of arms and the man at the beginning of his Aeneid, of Milton of man's first disobedience at the beginning of the Paradise Lost. Pope invokes his muse in the true epical style, but the mention of amorous causes shows the comic intention of the poet. The poet mockingly suggests in the very first line that love affairs are the root cause of some of the most dreadful actions. Para 4. Passion. In each poem there is some peculiar passion which is its distinguishing feature from all other poems of the species. Iliad is distinguished by the passion of anger and terror, Aeneid by soft and tender passions, Paradise Lost by the passions of revolt and rebellion, and Divine Comedy by passions of spiritual regeneration. Similarly, in the mocking vein, flirtation may be regarded as the reigning passion of The Rape of the Lock. Para number 5. Episodes. An epic must contain many episodes. Pope has introduced in The Rape of the Lock several episodes such as the episode of the game of Humour, which is the prelude to the central action. There is also a hazardous journey of Humour to the cave of Spleen. Para number 6. Supernatural element. Supernatural element is used in every epic. In the Iliad there are gods and goddesses. In Divine Comedy there are angels, and in Milton there are devils. But in The Rape of the Lock there are elves and gnomes. This light militia of the lower sky is more appropriate to the mock heroic poem, and Pope used it very skillfully. Vows of Heroes. Paragraph number 7. An epic generally has vows of heroes. The barons invoking the spirit of love on the fateful day is described with real mock epic fashion. In order to possess the lock of Belinda's hair, he prays to the Cupid, the god of love. He raises an altar in Cupid's honor made of 12 volumes of romances of the 17th century French novelists on this day. He placed various offerings, tokens of love from his former mistress. Paragraph number 8. Combats and battles. An epic should have combats and battles. The battle in The Rape of the Lock between Belinda and Baron's party is a very lively example of the heroic type, but in the mocking fashion. The description of weapons in The Rape of the Lock is also in the mock epic way. The petticoat of Belinda is called the sevenfold fence, stiff with hoops and arms with ribs of whole. Her petticoat is indirectly compared to the shield of Ajax in Iliad. Paragraph number 9. Visit of spirits. It is a common feature of epics to present the visit of spirits to the underworld. In The Rape of the Lock, Humour goes on a visit to the cave of Spleen. His journey to that place is described like Saturn's journey in Paradise Lost from the depth of hell to the newly created world. Paragraph number 10. Conclusion. 2-in-1 moral lesson. In addition to presenting the theme in the mocking fashion, Pope has satirized almost all the features of epic poetry so popular in the primitive Greek period. Thus, the poem has a dual function. On the one hand, it aims to satirize the contemporary society for not maintaining the time-honored moral and social values, and on the other hand, it holds the entire superstructure of epic traditions to ridicule. However, there is one exception to it. Since Pope was essentially a neoclassical writer with a serious belief in the moral value in literature, every piece of art must conclude with an explicit moral lesson for the reader. The Rape of the Lock, therefore, has a clear moral lesson conveyed through the character of Clarissa. Clarissa is the mouthpiece of the poet. She is a symbol of sanity in the world of vanity. Through Clarissa's speech, Pope lays down the moral of the poem. In conclusion, we can maintain that Rape of the Lock is basically a mock epic poem and Pope has presented it successfully. Thank you.